See, you can test your speakers by
Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to Edmonds CADE Online Academy. We're going to take just a couple more minutes before we're able to get started. We have an interpreter here, but we're still working on getting the connection so that all of our families who need Spanish interpretation have the ability to access the material tonight. So if you can just give us another minute or so, we'll be right with you. Thank you. I want to thank everyone for your patience. We're almost there, and we'll get started in just another moment. For those that are just joining us, we are experiencing a little technical difficulties, so we're trying to get our interpreter connected so that all of our Spanish-speaking families have the ability to get all the information that they want and need for this evening. So just one more moment, and we'll be right with you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all for your patience. For our Spanish speaking families this evening, you'll notice there's a button at the bottom for interpretation if you'd like to click on that if you need it. Welcome to Edmonds eLearning Academy. Next slide, please. So tonight we're going to be talking about preparing for the 21-22 school year. Next slide. So language interpretation is available this evening. Please click on the interpretation icon to select your respective language. All right. And next slide. So tonight we're going to be covering recording. Interpretation is available tonight. We will also be recording this meeting, so anyone who needs to see this later or you want to go back and rewatch it, this will be available on our website. We will be doing a land acknowledgement. We're going to talk a little bit about some information about our school. We're going to look at a day in the life of your student. We're going to look at some COVID-19 health and safety information, and we're going to give you then some time to ask some questions. We're really thrilled that so many people are joining us tonight, and we're really excited as we're preparing for the 21-22 school year.
So we acknowledge the original inhabitants of this place, the Snohomish people, and their successors, the Tuareg tribe, who since time immemorial have taken care of, hunted, fished, and gathered on these lands. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and we honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. By acknowledging these homelands, we commit to working with tribal nations to further the education aims they have identified in our classrooms and schools.
And next slide, please. Y para los hablantes en español, tenemos el reconocimiento de la tierra. Reconocemos que a los habitantes originales de este lugar, el pueblo Sododish y sus sucesores de las tribus Tuleda, que desde tiempos inmemorables han cuidado, cazado, pescado y cosechado en estas tierras. Respetamos su soberanía, su derecho a la autodeterminación y honramos su sagrada conexión espiritual con la tierra y el agua. Al reconocer estas tierras nativas, nos comprometemos a trabajar con las naciones tribales para promover los objetivos educativos que han identificado en nuestras aulas y en nuestras escuelas. Next slide, please.
So we want to start by introducing ourselves. First off, my name is Christy Frary. I'm the principal at Edmonds K-8 Online Academy. And you can see our information on the screen if you want to get a hold of us.
And then a couple lines down, my name's Josh Rail. I'm one of the assistant principals here and just thrilled to have you all here tonight. Thanks for being here.
And I am Miriam Ransom. I'm the other assistant principal here, and I'm very excited to have all of you here tonight, and I can't wait to work with you.
And then we also have our office manager, Katie Kaufman.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katie.
All right, next slide, please.
Okay, for everybody's information, first day of school for 1st through 12th grades is going to be Wednesday, September 8th. Kindergartners will have their first day of school Monday, September 13th. And our last day of school for the 2021-2022 school year will be Friday, June 24th. Next slide, please.
Okay, a little information about the school. To start off, we'll be getting class lists out soon. My hope is that we will have those out next week. We are also working on supply lists. You'll find there is a supply list on our website. If you go to the Edmonds School District website and you look at the schools, there's a new school in there under K-8 schools, and that's the Edmonds K-8 Online Academy. Our school supply list is on the website, so you're welcome to go there. Many of you maybe remember from last year the learning management systems that we use. The Seesaw will be used for kindergarten through 2nd grade, and Canvas will be used for 3rd through 8th grade this year. And we'll be having some sessions throughout the year, especially early on, for parents to be able to come in and learn more about how to use Canvas and Seesaw. Also, next slide, please. Skyward. Our Skyward is where you go to access your students' educational records and school information. We encourage that all families get very familiar with Skyward, and that is where you're going to go for your students' records, family contact information, and well, bus routes when we're in person, and even more. That family contact information, especially for our online school, is going to be critically important. So you'll want to make sure that you get that updated as soon as you can. And next slide, please. All right. So a day in the life of your student. Although the classrooms are going to be a little different in that they're not going to be meeting in person. They will be meeting via Zoom with their teachers, but their teachers are really excited to work with them this year. We are asking that students are prepared when it's time for class. Just because they aren't able to put their backpacks on and go to school, we still are requesting that the students have all the supplies that they need on hand when they sit down for their school day. You do need to let your teacher know if you would need any assistance getting supplies, please, or the office. We do have access to school supplies if anyone is in need of some different supplies or anything that you need there. School will start at 8 o'clock, and here in a little bit we'll put up a sample schedule, and classes end at 2:30, and that's going to be the same for both the K-6 as well as the 7-8 middle school. And your drop-off and pickup locations are going to be in your bedroom, living room, kitchen, den, or other room in your house. We just ask that you make sure that you log into class on time and that you maintain your time on throughout the day. All right, next slide, please. All right, and then we have lunch and breaks. So the way this is going to work this year is you will get a 30-minute lunch during the day, and you'll get 2 15-minute breaks. And those will be what the students normally would have for, let's say, recess. We're going to be doing those as essentially, or will be Zoom breaks. So you'll be getting your recess at home, and your lunch is going to be on your dining room table. Middle school will have 5 minutes between each class, just like you would in a normal passing time. This gives students times to get the materials that they need for the next class, use the restroom, get a snack, whatever they need in those 5 minutes. And they will also have a 30-minute lunch. During that time, you're going to want to lay down. During that time, you're going to want to lay down in your bedroom, run through the living room, stand up and stretch, eat a snack or simply play a game with parent permission, of course. All right, next slide. Thank you. I'm sorry, that's me. That is me, Miriam, sorry.
Okay.
I jumped too soon. All right, so we're going to talk really quickly about the COVID health and safety. Even though we're not going to be coming on campus, we want to make sure you are aware of all the safety that the district is putting in place for all of our staff and students this year. So the health and safety of our students, families, and staff is our priority. Our school will follow the latest guidance from the Washington State Department of Health and Snohomish Health District to ensure we are doing everything we can for the health and safety of our students, staff, families, and community. We will adapt to any new guidelines that comes out throughout the school year. All right, next slide, please. We will make updates to the handbook as guidance from the Washington State Department of Health and/or Snohomish Health District changes. We encourage you to become familiar with the handbook to find answers to answer any questions that you may have regarding our COVID-19 mitigations and other health and safety plans. Next slide, please. Daily health checks. The Washington State Department of Health is not requiring proof of daily health checks at this time for each student and staff member for the 21-22 school year. However, the Edmonds School District is asking all families to check their students for COVID-19 symptoms prior to arriving at school or district buildings. Staff are expected to do the same health check prior to arrival. You can see a list of all the COVID-19 symptoms on the district website. Families need to keep students home if they have been exposed to COVID-19, have symptoms of COVID-19, or are sick with other illnesses. You can see a list of, oh, sorry. Next slide, please. So those symptoms may include one or more of the following: fever, temperatures greater than 100.4 Fahrenheit, cough, for those with chronic allergic asthmatic cough, a change in their cough from baseline, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, chills, unusual fatigue, muscle and body aches. All right, next slide, please. Also, new onset of headaches, sore throat, sudden loss of taste or smell, congestion or runny nose unrelated to seasonal allergies, nausea or vomiting, and diarrhea. All right.
Okay, here's some more information. We were trying to help make sure you guys are staying healthy. And so we're going to be involved in some routine cleaning and disinfecting. So these procedures will prioritize highly used areas and spaces with the higher risk of generating aerosols or bodily fluids. Like if we were in the school building, for instance, those high risk areas would be doorknobs, the handles, different things in the classroom that people touch a lot. But because that doesn't apply to us, we should be pretty good right now. Next slide, please. So HVAC systems, or heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, they've been set to maximize the outside air coming in, and the filters have been upgraded, and this will happen, they'll be changed regularly, making sure everyone keeps it safe. All right, hand hygiene. Students and staff are required to wash or sanitize hands upon entering the building and washing or sanitize hands frequently throughout the day. So And because you're at home, you're going to be washing your hands anyway. But this is just to let you know that these are some safety precautions we're taking. And there is a short video. I believe we're going to watch that video.
Apparently my internet does not want to let you watch this video.
All right, we'll go ahead and we'll post the videos on our website. We'll have them up first thing tomorrow, so everyone can have an opportunity to see those.
And so next slide, please. So schools are open to students and district staff only. Our campuses are closed to non-school individuals. This includes family and community volunteers. So if we're in school, the schools are actually going to be closed to your family members, but the main school office is going to be open to family members who have urgent needs. And the office, you are always welcome to call the office if you have any questions or concerns about anything, parents and students. Next slide, please. I believe this is my last slide. Vaccine is required for all school employees. The vaccine is available to anyone 12 years and older at this time. And so you want to go to the Snohomish Health District's website to learn more about that, to learn more about the vaccine and how to book an appointment. And now I believe Josh.
Perfect. Okay, in regards to COVID-19 testing, we are able to test students and staff at all of our schools for COVID-19, along with mask and students, of course, with family permission. This also applies to staff who may have been exposed to COVID-19 or have COVID-19 like symptoms. Along with mask wearing, testing for COVID-19 is a key mitigation strategy. And once again, testing is available in all district schools. Let's go to the next slide, please. At this time, the Washington State Department of Health's guidance ensures all students have access to their chosen performing arts courses. Please see the latest from the Department of Health on our COVID-19 health and safety safety page. That website that is hyperlinked at the bottom has all of that information, and it will also be posted on the Edmonds School District website as well. Next slide, please. In regards to fall athletics, we follow guidance from the state and county health agencies when it comes to student athletics. At this time, students in high school and middle school will be able to participate in all regular fall athletics at their neighborhood school. Check out fall dates, sports options, forms, and eligibility online. So once again, that hyperlink right there on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, will have all of that information that you will need for that. And we're going to turn it over to Christy.
All right. So lunches, free breakfast and lunches for all students. You no longer need to stress about paying for or packing school meals. Meals are free for all students in our schools for the entire 21-22 school year. Menu information will be available starting Monday, August 30th, and there is a bit.ly link there also for menus. We are working with the food services at this time to determine how our Edmonds Online Academy families will be able to access those meals. So stay tuned. You are eligible for those. So we are working on how to make that happen for you. All right. And does your family need financial support? So while all students will receive free breakfast and lunch for the 21-22 school year, we encourage eligible students and families to complete the free and reduced meals application anyway. Completing that application allows students to receive additional benefits such as financial support for course fees, sports fees, as well as reduced costs for internet. So you can that document can also be found on the Edmonds School District website. All right, next slide. Oh, and there is actually the bit.ly link right there. So if you follow that bit.ly link there, ESD financial support, that will take you to the application, or you can call 425-431-7077 to request an application. And finally, we are hiring. Apply online today. Join the Edmonds School District. Please check our website for available jobs, and that will be bit.ly/ESD jobs. We're especially in need of school bus drivers and food service workers. All right, so that kind of brings us to the end of the information part of this. So now we would like to open up for questions from you. So you'll notice in the bottom, there's a chat it's a Q&A button. So go ahead and some of you have already been using it. So if you add your question to the Q&A, we'd be more than happy to answer those questions for you. And we will get through as many as we can in the time we have remaining. So I'm going to ask some of our other panelists to go ahead and join us. Besides Josh and Miriam, we also tonight we've got Dr. Helen Zhang, our Assistant Superintendent for Elementary, and Dr. Haley Etnier, and she is our Director of Special Education. And so we've have them here in case there are any questions that they would need to help us answer, but we'll just do the best we can here from the beginning. So I'm going to start with the very first question that we have for tonight. So will there be materials, workbooks, etc., to pick up, and where's the pickup location? David, thank you for asking that question. That's a great question. We will be getting materials for you, for everybody. And we're going to have those pickup locations are going to be spread out throughout the district. It will most likely, we'll let you guys know for sure, but it's most likely going to be at the high school in your area. So it would be at each of the 4 high schools. We will have an evening or two where we will have pickup locations. We also are going to be doing some Chromebook swaps coming up here pretty soon. Our kindergarten families, you're going to be picking up your Chromebooks for the first time. And then 1st grade, 5th grade, and is it 8th grade? No, 1st grade, no, this is just 1st grade and 5th grade. Sorry, it's 9th grade. So 1st grade and 5th grade, you will be getting swapping out last year's Chromebooks for new Chromebooks this year. So keep your eye out. We'll be putting dates up very soon. That's going to be happening in the next week or so. In fact, Katie, do you already have dates set for that?
I do, yeah. If you go to our website, you'll find out all the information. We're going to be doing most of it out of the CPM, which is the College Place Middle School campus, which is right behind the Edmonds School District main campus. Because we've got all of our tech people there, that's where our high school is sort of based. And it's a perfect location to have you guys come drop off your old ones, pick up your new ones, make sure you bring the charger with you, and they'll have a little roundabout. But look at the website, the EOA website. We've got all of those details on there. Thank you. I'm going to jump in and ask questions. So, Christy, the next question is, does the school have assigned nurse, psych, and family advocate? And if not, do we know when that information is coming?
Yeah, great question. We are currently working on staffing as we speak. We are frantic, I don't want to say that word. We are quickly working through and getting as many people staffed as we possibly can right now. So yes, I believe we do have our psych. I don't have the name yet, but I understand that there's somebody that is in that hiring process right now, as well as the nurse. The nurse is coming on board sometime in the next day, and I didn't see what the family advocate. I do not have information on family advocate, but I'm pretty sure that that's coming as well. So every department in the district right now is working to help us staff all the pieces that we need to make sure that we have all the supports that we need for our families this year.
Thank you. Can you please advise if Online Academy will continue offering ELL program for English second language students in the 3rd grade starting in September?
Yes, we will. One of the things that we are really feel very strongly about is we want to make sure that every student has the services that they would have in our on-ground school, that those same services, they will be getting the services that they need, even in our online school. So yes, they will be getting their EL services provided.
And I think that goes also, Christy, for the title lap, which is our next question. Yep. I do anticipate that students will receive a screener for our title lap programming to help with reading, and then determinations will be made on what that service will look like similarly. Yep. The next question is, if vaccines are made available for 12-year-olds under by the end of the year or January, will it be possible to go back to school for in-person learning?
Thank you. That's actually a great question also. That there is a process that has been put into place for students that want to transfer schools between schools. It's the same process that we use for any student that wants to go from one district school to another district school. And that process is on the website. So if you and your family get to a point in the year that you feel like you're ready to consider moving to a different school, you'll need to go through the process that is laid out on the district website for how to transfer schools.
Thank you. Can you remind us what the process will be if a student's going to be absent or if they're sick?
Yeah, so we will have an attendance line, just like every other school has an attendance line. So if your student is going to be absent or sick, you'll want to make sure that you call the student's absence in as soon as possible. If they do not attend the class that day, by the end of the day, they will be getting that attendance robocall like they would be getting in an on-ground school.
Fantastic. And then materials, it sounds like additional information will be coming out with materials and timelines around that. Same, do we have timelines for kinders and Chromebooks or laptops? Yeah, yes, we do. So it's the 10th of September. That's the Friday, if I'm not mixing up my dates. 3 to 6 p.m. Again, we're going to be operating mostly out of the College Place Middle School campus. But if you need a little bit of assistance in getting a Chromebook, then you can always reach out to me. You can find my email on the website. I'm the office manager. Thank you. What about teacher assignments? Do we know when we'll have that information?
Yeah, so the hope is that we'll have all the class lists ready to go next week. So you'll be able to find out who your teacher is beginning next week.
Are there any school clubs? And if so, when do they start?
That's another great question. Josh, do you want to take that one?
I would love to. We are in the process of getting some great ideas for clubs. I know we are looking at starting up an esports club. We're going to have a lot of different extracurricular activities. available for our student body. And so start looking for announcements out of your students' advisory classes about when those clubs are going to start up. I anticipate give us about a month to get stuff going and up and rolling, and we should have those ready to go. I anticipate sometime in October, early to mid-October.
Thank you. There's a question about students with IEPs, and I can speak directly to that. We will have case managers working in the program to help facilitate the student services and their needs based on each student's individual IEP. So we will have staff to do that. It will be online as well, and the IEP will come from your student's home school to the academy. Will there be a Q&A with the teachers after the assignments are final?
Oh, so I think, let me clarify that I think you're asking is like, would there be an opportunity for you to meet your teacher before the first day of school? That's a great, I would like to be able to do something like that. We're looking at an opportunity to be able to meet. It may not be before the first day of school, but within the first week or so, we're hoping to have an opportunity for you to be able to meet with the students, with your students' teachers.
There's a question about how many teachers, will there be one main teacher? How many teachers per class? What are you anticipating that experience to look like?
So the classroom is going to look very similar to what you would have experienced in the regular classroom in person. So our kindergarten through, I believe, second grade are going to be just about the same numbers that they would have in an in-person classroom, and the same all the way up. So it would be, one teacher in a classroom, and let's say of kindergartners, there's going to be maybe 18 to 20 kindergartners.
Fantastic, thank you. There's another question around students with individual education plans or IEPs, and how will we support them? So we anticipate having special education staff on site or on remote site to support your students' individual needs, and their IEP will be implemented, and you'll work with your case manager to determine sessions, service minutes, and all of those components once the case managers are identified. And the next question is, does kindergarten e-learning have a grading system?
That's an excellent question, and that's one that when we start working, when I bring the kindergarten teachers in and we start working together, then we'll be able to identify that system. I imagine it's going to be similar to the other kindergartens in that most of it is going to be around looking at standards and meeting standards, and not like a letter grading system. Helen, did you want to add to that?
Yes, it will be the same as the progress monitoring that we do. Like all the other students in Edmonds School District, there is not a separate report card, a template, or anything like that. So it'll be very consistent. And we'll share with you what that looks like. I know our new kindergarten families are not used to seeing report cards and all of those things. And so we will be sharing all that information with you soon.
There's a question about IEPs from last year and the process for getting them updated. So for every student, regardless of in a year or COVID or not, we are obligated legally to hold an IEP annually. And so that will happen at their annual review date, and your case manager will have that date. And if you want to know, it is on the IEP. It's on the date of your last meeting, or you can reach out to Christy or myself and we can get you that date. Next question, how many students will be in an elementary class?
Third grade? Trying to remember. So I think it's going to be about between 20 and 23.
Thank you. What might a typical day look like? How long might they be on Zoom versus self-paced?
That's another great question. So 70%, so what we're doing this year, kind of the way our form for school is what's the OSPI, the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, they are identifying as continuous learning 2.0. Probably too much information there, but what that really means is that 70% or more of your child's day must be in person on Zoom. Less than 30% of the day can be what we called asynchronous. Asynchronous was that time that you had experienced last year where the student could be working on something but not on the screen, that would be off. Wednesdays were also known as asynchronous days last year. So the not on the Zoom. So 70% of your day will be in Zoom this year with your teacher, but they will also have specialists. They're going to get library, they're going to get music, they're going to get PE, the same type of activities that they would be getting in a in-person elementary school.
Thank you. Why is there such an early start time for elementary school, changed by an hour since earlier years?
I could answer that question. There's a lot of shifts that we needed to make regarding transportation services and making sure that we're providing timely transportation to our students. And so transportation, there's a domino effect because we transport high schoolers, middle schools, and elementary schools as students. So it's really to accommodate all of our students in a timely way. So sometimes there are shifts in start times. And because we were in a hybrid schedule, we had a different time, and now we're returning. This is not new, that we're returning to our old pre-pandemic start times.
Thank you. So here's a question about school of origin. Are we no longer a part of our original school as this is a whole new academy, or are we still associated with our given in-person school? It feels a little bit different than last year. So can you speak a little bit more to that, Christy?
Yeah, you are actually going to be part of our school. Your belonging will be in our school, our entity. So you are going to be Edmonds K-8 Online Academy students and families this year. You will have the opportunity to return to your other school, but yes, you will be part of the Edmonds K-8 Online community.
Here's a question about breaks for 7th and 8th graders. And how are the Zoom classes going to be led? So when do they have breaks? How will they be led? And will they be on for their entire class period?
Yeah,
are they
great question.
Going to have more homework or asynchronous?
So I'll break that down. Breaks for 7th and 8th grade students will be, they'll get a 30-minute lunch, and then they get 5 minutes between each of their classes, which is very, very typical of most of our middle schools. The Zoom classes are going to be led, yes, by their teacher. There'll be a teacher in their classes. For middle school students, they are going to have between 4 and 5 classes that will be synchronous with the teacher. So you will find the English, math, social studies, and science are all going to be synchronous classes with face-to-face with an instructor for 55 minutes. And then PE, 7th graders take 1 semester of PE, 8th graders take a whole year of PE. So PE is going to also be synchronous. So for the semester that a student may have, let's say a 7th grader, if it's a semester that they've got their four classes plus a PE, they'll be in 5 live Zoom sessions that semester. Then the following semester, they'll have 4 sessions plus advisory, plus then the elective classes are going to be asynchronous. So those classes, we have an asynchronous curriculum that we use with our high school called Edgenuity. So the students that are taking asynchronous electives will be taking those through Edgenuity.
And I anticipate, Chrissy, that this will all be published on your website, or when teachers start their classes, they'll be sharing
Yep.
out the schedule. So that will probably, if you didn't get all of that right now or tonight, it will be coming out, and we'll have it in writing as well.
It's actually also currently, if you go to our website and you look, there is a student and family handbook that has all this information already published there. It has the sample schedules for both high school or middle school and for elementary school. Most of the questions that you have probably can be answered out of that handbook as well.
Thank you. Will there be school photos and yearbooks?
Yes, I'm really excited to say yes. We're working on that right now. Katie's gonna talk about that one a little bit.
I'm so excited because Edmonds eLearning has not had a chance to really do this very well in the past. And now that we have such a big student list, it's a really fun thing to be able to organize and put together. I've met with a really amazing photographer. He does school photos for the district. He's local. They set up a little booth so that they've got the whole thing down as far as COVID safety protocols and all of that. We're debating on exactly which location we're going to do. Again, that CPM location, because it's the home base for our 9 through 12. We have a couple rooms there that we can use, but we're also looking at potentially doing it at the main Edmonds district office. So that tentatively is set for the 13th of October. Again, as we get more confirmed information, we'll make sure that you guys are either emailed or we'll throw it up on our website, and probably do both. So keep an eye out.
And that is when we would use the examples of like our hand washing and all of our COVID protocols, and we have opportunities like that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay, next question. When will we meet our teachers and get the schedule?
Our hope is that you'll be able to get schedules next week. Meeting the teachers, we need to give the teachers a couple of days to kind of get ready. So it may not necessarily happen before the first day of school. Sorry, I think my internet may be slowing down. It may not necessarily be before the first day of school, but we're going to do the best we can to create opportunities for you to be able to at least communicate with the teachers before that first day.
Thank you. How closely will the Academy follow the in-person curriculum so that when vaccines are available, we can switch back to our in-person school?
Our teachers are the teachers that we have teaching in our classrooms are going to be the same teachers that have been teaching in person for years. So they will use exactly the same curriculum that that is used across the district.
Great. What will tests and independent work time look like?
I'd love to be able to answer that one. That's one of those things that we're going to have to work with the teachers on how they're going to do that. And that will also vary based on grade. I think that's going to look very different, let's say, for some of our K-1-2 primary students versus what it might look like for some of our older 5th and 6th grade, and even our middle school students.
Great, thank you. Here's another question around IEPs. Will students with IEPs be contacted about their support schedule when you get your class list? I'm not sure if the timing will work out exactly, but we're working to have everything schedule set and working as closely as we can with our general education partners as special educators. So we anticipate it happening, but it might not happen exactly at the same time, but hopefully close. There's a question, are teachers teaching from home or their original assigned school, or I'm going to add an addition to this, or other?
It's going to be a mixture of a couple of those. The teachers will be working from the district, from the school district, but some of them may be working from their original schools. Some of them may be working at other locations. It's going to be a little bit of everything.
Great, thank you. Will classes be done over Zoom? Are you anticipating the classes being conducted over Zoom or another form of video communication?
We will be strictly Zoom. The district provides Zoom for us. We have a subscription for it, so that's the one service that we will be using.
Okay, great, thank you. Our next question is, can you just remind us about returning back, starting online and then going to in-person? Can you just remind us what that process is?
Yeah. So when you are, as a family, decide you're ready to consider going back to an in-person school, there's a process on the district website for transferring schools within the district. And there's a page that talks through exactly what the steps are and the documents that you need to fill out to be able to do that. It's the same process that you would use if you were to transfer between two in-district school or in-person schools as well. So the process is all on the website.
And the process would be similar. This is another question. If a student were to leave or move out of the Edmonds School District in the middle of the year, can they still attend online, or is there a process that they would need to follow to do so?
That's an excellent question. It depends on where you go. If you're within the area, sometimes we can do a district transfer, but that's really, it's up to the two districts to both agree that they're willing to do that transfer. And that all depends on staffing at the different locations on whether they can maintain that out of district transfer. So that's something that you'll want to explore before you make the move to see if that's going to be a possibility.
Thank you. If a family decides to have their student go back to in-person, will their student go to their original home school?
Actually, not necessarily. If you ask to transfer mid-year, you would be transferred to a school where there's an opening. So it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you would be able to go back for this year. You wouldn't necessarily be able to go back to your neighborhood school. Now, starting next year, at the end of next year, then you would be able to go back to your neighborhood school.
Okay. What is Seesaw? And probably what is Canvas?
Yeah, good questions. Especially for some of our kindergarten families, you probably have not seen this before. Seesaw, and then for some of our older families who are used to Seesaw and aren't familiar with Canvas, we call those learning management systems. What the learning management system is a system that the teachers are able to use to be able to communicate curriculum, any learning videos. The teachers can really mold the curriculum delivery to students, and it's especially useful in a virtual setting so that students have everything that they need right on one screen. It has videos and worksheets and manipulatives and whatever it is that they need to be able to access all in one place.
Thank you. Can you register for online after the school has started?
In the same way that if you wanted to transfer away from Edmonds K-8 Online Academy and transfer to another school, you would use the same process if you wanted to come to the K-8 Academy. Once the school year has started, you would have to go through the same school transfer process, and then it takes some time for that to go into effect. And it's decided at the district level whether that transfer can happen, and that's all based on staffing, whether there's the ability for a transfer like that to happen. Helen, did you want to add to that?
No, you did mention the staffing part of all of this. We just need to make sure that we have an agreement with our teacher union and so forth. And also we have to think about the availability of teachers who are able to switch from in-person to remote and vice versa. So it's not, I know it's frustrating when families want to get their kids vaccinated, and when they do get vaccinated, as parents, we want them to go in person. And, but there's some staffing implications that it's like a puzzle. We got to make sure that we have the set number of kids in that grade level to be able to work this out. And this is why we say it may not be your neighborhood school, unfortunately. It could be, but we do offer an option with transportation provided to another school if the staffing cannot be worked out in your neighborhood school.
Thank you. There's some follow-up questions about occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech and language pathology. Those will be offered virtually as well for our academy students. And a follow-up question around caseload. If your student is on the IEP, they will have a case manager in the academy setting. And then your case manager will reach out with you and work with your general ed teachers to make sure, similar to when we were in person. There was a follow-up question around EL services and title and lap services. Those will also be provided based on student need, and will look, similar to when we were when you were in person. Is there a need to provide a copy of medical records with immunizations in order to start online academy school this year, including the special form with allergies listed?
That's an excellent question. And the answer is yes. According to OSPI, even as an online school, fully virtual, you still must have a fully updated vaccination list. We have our nurses are currently going through our vaccination list, the vaccines for all of our academy students, and they're creating a list of students that you will be getting contacted very soon if your immunizations are not up to date. And unfortunately, even though we're virtual, if your immunizations are not up to date for the first day of school, you will not be allowed to attend. So make sure you get that taken care of before that first day of school.
Great, thank you. Will kids that are in person but have to quarantine due to COVID be joining these classes on and off, or have other remote learning opportunities that don't disrupt this class?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that one?
Yeah.
That one.
Will kids that are in person but have to quarantine due to COVID be joining the e-learning or academy classes, or will they have other remote opportunities that don't disrupt these classes?
No, they won't be. If somebody is being removed from their home school and can't attend, they will need to, just like if you were sick from an in-person school during another time, they would need to work out school arrangements with their teacher.
Is the K-8 Online Academy hosting a Jumpstart?
That is a great question. And I'm going to meet with my kindergarten teachers very soon, and we're going to figure out what we can do to be able to provide that. But I can't make any guarantees that we're going to be able to. I'm just, we're going to explore that and let you know.
Thank you. For families who've submitted an intent change form after the cutoff, do we really have to wait until September 20th to find out if our students will be placed in online? Do we miss the first 2 weeks of school? What is the process for that?
Helen, do you have any information on that?
Right now, we don't have specific dates where we will place students if a family is wishing to change their intent because of the staffing implications. As we speak, although it's 7:04 p.m., I know that we have folks in HR trying to figure out the staffing piece to ensure that we have the online academy fully staffed as well as our neighborhood schools. So I don't think, honestly, I don't think it will be before September 20th, and we will let you know more information about that.
Here's a fun question, Christy. What will be the process for checking out library books, or will there be a process for that?
That's a great question. We're actually working on getting that all set up right now. So there's going to be a couple of options for accessing library books. Students will have an opportunity to reserve a library book at their neighborhood school, or one of the other things that we're going to be working with pretty closely is the Snow Isle library system, so that students will have the ability to go to Snow Isle to check out books. And I personally think that's even a better opportunity because it gives you a lot more flexibility on a lot more book options, as well as more flexibility on when and where you can go to the library.
All right, I know we are just over time. And Christy, there's one last question I think it would be great to end with, and maybe some final notes where we can find any details. Middle school and elementary school start dates one more time. All
right, middle school and elementary, you're both going to be starting. The first day of school is September. Oh my goodness, and I just blanked. Is it September 8th? Is that right? Yes, good, thank you. And then kindergarten is going to be starting the following Monday. So kindergarten does not start that first week. They start the following Monday. I believe that's the 13th, pulling it off the top of my head.
Thank you. For the additional questions, Skyward, Canvas, anything else, where can families go for that?
So for right now, the best place to go is going to just keep watching the Edmonds K-8 Online Academy website. That's eoa.edmonds.wednet.edu. And we're going to keep updating that every time we've got new information. We're going to be adding it there. You'll notice there's your supply list that was, I believe, added today. The student parent handbook, that's been there for a while, but if you've not had a chance to look at it, that's got a lot of our information in it, and we'll just keep adding more information there. And then we send robocalls and emails a lot. So if you have blocked those, reach out to Katie. She can help you get those unblocked. But you need to let her know if you're not receiving the robocalls or emails, there's a chance you may have blocked that at some point, and we can get those unblocked, but you just need to let us know that you're willing to let us do that. All right. I want to thank you all for coming. This has been great. I really hope we were able to answer your questions. This video will be put up on the website. So for anyone who wasn't able to be here, families that you know that weren't able to attend, or if there's information that you want that you didn't get, you want to hear it again, you're welcome to come back and watch the whole thing all over again. And again, keep watching those emails and listen for those robocalls, and we'll be sending out information very soon with more about class lists and all those other questions. All right. Thank you so much. Have a good night. It was wonderful meeting you all.
Hey,
All right. I think it says Hungy Toe is still there, but it says no attendees.
I've moved him out, but I can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
So, oh well.
I'm here on my
It says
phone.
there are no attendees. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. And I apologize for all my problems I've been having, but
It's okay.
Oh my
God.
goodness. You know, that's the thing about Zoom. You know, we've kind of experienced this thing over and over and over again. It's like, you
Yeah.
think after a year and a half of doing this, we'd have it down, but
Yep.
there's always
And see-
technical issues.
See, Katie, I just need Katie, Christy, somebody. I just need somebody to come to my house and fix my computer so I can get on Zoom. That's what I need to do. So,
All right,
all right. Thank you guys. I'll see everyone tomorrow.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Miriam, I will come to
yeah.
your house when you live in up here. Okay,
Okay,
I will
wow,
go to your
yeah.
new house and help you fix it, but I'm not going to drive to Tacoma for that one.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Good night,
Bye.
you guys.
Good night.
Bye.
Christy, I wonder if we can get some of these questions and do an FAQ, because there's a lot of the same ones going on.
Mhm.
So I'll ask Amanda about that tomorrow and see if we can just like start an FAQ and get a lot of that stuff put on there. Because I think that there's a theme running through all these questions.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Trying to see if there's a way to download the questions,
yeah.
but I don't see.
Oh, now I have interpretation. Someone gave it to me.
Yeah, I know. Oh, well, Chris did that. Chris, when he popped
That's
in, he fixed all that. But
It's a bummer that we can't get it done beforehand.
well, we should have been able to. I
Yeah.
think somehow it got missed.
Yep.
All right. I have no idea how to download those.
It's okay. I think what we can do is just start a running Q&A and then get them on the website. I was shocked at how many people asked about picking up Chromebooks. I was like, whoa, okay, people, you know, so. All right, I'm gonna go
All right.
unless you need me. for something.
No, I almost, it's like, I'm trying to figure out if, I don't know, some of the questions I was like, really? But
Yeah.
it's all good. All good. It's all good. All right.
Bye.
Have a good night.
You too. Get home.
Yeah.
Bye.